Welcome to the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Grantee Training. In this presentation, we will be discussing capital grants. We will discuss what a capital grant is and its intended purpose. We will define the requirements that must be followed by capital grants, including the guidelines of programs such as the Business Enterprise Program, the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, and the Prevailing Wage Act. We will touch on grants that are supported by bond funds, and the unique requirements imposed on those programs. Finally, we will conclude by sharing some valuable resources. A capital grant is a grant issued to address infrastructure needs. Grant funding will be invested in communities across the state. In fiscal year 2020, a $45 billion Rebuild Illinois initiative was passed in which $3 billion was appropriated to DCEO for capital grants. The General Assembly enacts appropriations for DCEO's capital grants in two forms, the first being a lump sum appropriation, and the second as a line item appropriation. A lump sum appropriation funds individual projects identified throughout the year. It involves a competitive process that requires a merit-based review. The intended project must match part or all of the intent stated within the Notice of Funding Opportunity. A line item appropriation is a direct appropriation that funds one project. It is not a competitive process, therefore not requiring a merit-based review. The grant project must match the intent with the specified legislation. The record must match exactly, including the entity name, purpose, and grant amount. Now we will discuss allowable expenses for capital grants. All capital grant projects must follow bondability guidelines. These are guidelines set forth to ensure whether a specific project is eligible to be backed with Rebuild Illinois funds. To meet the requirements, grant expenditures are expected to last the life of the bond term. All capital grant projects are reviewed on a case-by-case basis. Bondability expenditure categories include planning and design, land and building acquisition, utilities, building additions or structures, site improvements, and durable movable equipment. To review bondability guidelines, use your mobile device to scan the QR code on your screen. Or you can enter the bit.ly address into your web browser. Capital grant projects in the amount of $250,000 or more are subject to the Business Enterprise Program, also known as BEP. The BEP supports businesses owned by minorities, women, and persons with disabilities. The focus of this program is to increase capacity, grow revenue, and enhance credentials. DCEO provides the grantee with assigned BEP goals and utilization plan paperwork based on the grantee's submitted project scope of work. To learn more about the Business Enterprise Program, you can scan the QR code on the screen with your mobile device, or enter the bit.ly address down here into your web browser. All capital grant projects must meet applicable federal and state laws and regulations requiring identification and evaluation of the project's environmental impacts. These reviews are conducted by the Illinois State Historic Preservation Office or SHPO, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, and the Illinois Department of Agriculture. If an environmental review is required of the grantee must complete the request and obtain approval prior to any grant dollars being dispersed. Capital grant projects in the amount of $500,000 or more are also subject to the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, which is designed to increase equity and opportunity in capital construction jobs and expand equity in Illinois' construction workforce. For applicable projects, the goal is for apprentices to perform 10% of the total labor hours actually worked in each prevailing wage category or 10% of the estimated labor hours in each prevailing wage category, whichever is less. To learn more about the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, its requirements, eligibility, and more, use your mobile device to scan the QR code on the screen or enter the bit.ly link shown here into your web browser. The Illinois Department of Labor Prevailing Wage Act requires contractors and subcontractors to pay hourly prevailing wage rates to all workers on public construction jobs or public works jobs. Grant agreements from DCEO specify that prevailing rates be paid in writing to the contractor awarded by any contract on a public works project, including call for bids, contract or purchase order, and contractors' bonds. The prevailing wage rates are based by county location of project and can be found on the Illinois Department of Labor website. To learn more about the Illinois Department of Labor Prevailing Wage Act, its requirements, and other information, use your mobile device to scan the QR code on your screen, or enter the bit.ly address into your web browser. More information can be found on the DCEO Grantee resource page. Use your mobile device to scan the QR code on the screen, or visit dceo.illinois.gov/dceo-grants. Thank you for watching this presentation on capital grants. If you have any questions, please reach out to ceo.granthelp@illinois.gov.